So Maya, M-A-Y-A. So this is a Sanskrit word, and so it's it's commonly thought of as meaning illusion. But the root of the word comes from the Sanskrit word ma, which is M-A, ma, which actually means to measure. And that word, that root is actually, we have that in quite a lot of modern words we use now, like matter or matrix. In Latin, mother is mater, M-A-T-E-R. So all of these words describing something very important and fundamental are starting with this M-A, the ma. And so as well as being illusion, which we commonly take it to be, we can take it to be to measure or to bind something, especially in this case for Maya, it's realities. So what it's trying to say, I think, in some way, is that when we try and measure reality, when we try and break reality, the complex, wondrous experience of life around us, when we try and break that down into smaller pieces, if we use our mind and we start to break everything down into smaller and smaller increments, we start to enter into a state where we are experiencing an illusion. Because when we do that, when we break the whole into these tiny pieces, we're no longer experiencing reality as it is, and instead we're experiencing reality in some way where we're creating the illusion for ourselves. And I can give a good example of that. It's if I look at your room right now and I can see you and I can see your kind of where you're situated in the center of the room, and you've got a bookshelf and you've got a picture, it gives me a good sense of where you are at this moment in space and time. But if I break things down and if I zoom in really, really close and I can just see your lamp, or I can just see part of the bookshelf, or I can just see part of the wall, I'm looking at the same thing. I'm looking at the same image of your room, but it's now no longer makes any sense. Now I'm in a sort of an illusion or a delusionary state where I can't quite understand what I'm looking at anymore because I've broken it down into two smaller pieces. And so for me, that's quite an interesting thing, that this idea of measuring and binding reality actually creates a form of illusion. And actually, Sri Chinmoy talked about this, so I might just read out what he had to say. Say, he said, Maya is a Sanskrit word. It means measure. When we measure something, we bind it. I gave a talk on Maya a few minutes ago on the definition of the word. In the word Maya, commonly translated as illusion, the root meaning is to bind, is to measure something. Now, in our day-to-day activities, we are binding. We are trying to bind the infinite, which cannot be bound. Maya exists in us because we are afraid of something vast, something deep. On the one hand, we say that we want everything, but the moment a little thing is offered to us, our vessel is so small that we feel that it will totally break us. At that time, we cry aloud, we don't want it. Maya exists because we consciously and very often want to wallow in the pleasures of ignorance. That is, only when we aspire do we come to realize that very often, consciously, we want the joy of inconscience and foolish emptiness. And when we wallow in the pleasure of ignorance, Maya says, oh, you are my friend, my eternal friend.